Good evening, everyone. Welcome to This Week from Rockdale. Would just like to thank everyone for joining me this evening. I'm actually doing some sharing on my phone so we can try to get some more people coming to the show. And as soon as I'm done that, I'll put this thing up and start talking to you guys directly. So, glad to have you guys here today. Just going to first talk about something that's very important to me, and that's the 6U Social Circle Redskins. That little football team that I help coach, and I just want to put a shout out to them. We had entered the week at 3-0. We had a game on Tuesday, and we had a hard fought loss that day, guys. We were tied 6-6 with 30 seconds left, and we gave up a score, and we lost that tight game 12-6. But it was a hard fought game. Social Circle Redskins. We went down one. Our record went to 3-1. Then we had a game this Saturday, and this Saturday the Redskins bounced back, and we had another hard game, but we won 20-12. We were winning 20-6, 3 minutes or something left. We started doing some substituting and such, and we gave up another score, but we shut them down the rest of the game. Social Redskins are going into a Monday night game tomorrow night with a 4-1 record. And just to let everybody know, the 6U program in Social Circle until this year had not won a game for 3 seasons. So we're very proud of these young men and what they're able to accomplish. And we just thank all of y'all for indulging me and letting me brag on the 6U Social Circle Redskins as we advance this season. Now, let's get to the heart of the matter and some things that we want to talk about here in our home county, Rockdale County, Georgia. This past Thursday, our Board of Commissioners had a legislative breakfast where they wanted members of the legislature and the community to come together at a breakfast out at Costly Mill. And, Costly Mill is very ample. It's properly named Costly Mill. Costs a lot of money. So we might as well use Costly Mill and have these events at Costly Mill, and instead of going to these highfalutin fancy places that our county commission likes to go to and have these meetings and such. So we might as well go to something that costs us taxpayers a lot of money and use it to benefit us. So we had this legislative breakfast where they wanted to talk about some issues that they were going to bring before the legislature this coming legislative session, and some issues that are out there facing Rockdale County. The first issue they talked about was a facilities authority that they are planning on asking the legislature to enact for Rockdale County. I've not got a chance to do a lot of research on this facilities authority yet, but I've got some phone calls in, and I'm going to be talking with members of the legislature this week about this facilities authority. And when I get some additional information, I'm definitely going to come back next week. I do want to talk about this a little further next week, but I do have some thoughts on this facilities authority because I found it very, very interesting. Something that Commissioner Washington said. Commissioner Washington said this is a way that we can do bonds and not raise taxes. So I'm very interested in how this authority would be able to issue bonds and pay for them without raising taxes when they claimed we're stretched to do anything we do now with the existing revenues that we have come in, especially with what they intend on the project that was mentioned. They had mentioned a courthouse complex with legislative facilities. Legislative facilities was a fancy way of saying new offices for the Board of Commission and the Rockdale County government. So, instead of a government facility, now we're calling it a legislative center. So we're calling it a courthouse facility, legislative facility offices. So I like how they change all these names around, make them a little fancy. Is that trickery of words? I think it is trickery of words. So, but the interesting comment made about that was this is a way for the county to issue bonds and not raise taxes. Um, when right now, when they do their budget hearings, they say, we're stretched, the money's going as far as it is without new taxes, we can't offer services. So how are they going to pay these bonds? As a courthouse and a legislative center or government complex does not generate revenue. So with these facilities not being revenue generating facilities, how would this authority raise money to pay for this if we didn't initiate an additional sales tax or additional funding source for this authority? There is no way. That's why I really want to talk to members of the legislature this week, see what kind of shenanigans this board is up to. Because you know what? We talk about the water's dirty in Rockdale. Well, something about this facilities authority just doesn't seem on the up and up. And here at This Week from Rockdale, well, we're going to get to the bottom of this facilities authority, and we're going to find out what's going on with this facilities authority, because this kind of nonsense needs to be nipped before it even gets started. Because we've got, and I'm going to talk about this a little later in the program too, because they did bring up the Water and Sewer Authority, which is an oversight authority that can issue bonds. So, but that authority had a revenue source. It had the Rockdale Water and Sewer Authority, had the Rockdale Water and Sewer as its revenue source. So, when they issued its bonds through the services that were offered and the payments that were received, that authority had the means to actually pay the bonds. But a facilities authority, where the facility would be a courthouse and a legislative or government building, it would not have the capabilities of generating its own revenues to pay the bonds. The commissioner did say that she would not be object to using SPLOS funds to pay some of the bond payments. And I found that interesting to use the word some of and not all of. I still am very cautious about what kind of a price tag that these individuals are looking for. I think they're still looking at a Taj Mahal type facility. When many people have looked at this, even the courthouse committee, at the time, a few years ago, when we looked at this, we said 25, 30 million bucks would build something. With the way prices have gone up, I really think we're not going to build anything for under $50 million. But I think $50 million is a doable thing with SPLOS funding. We would just have to cut back on some of the things that are not essential that we do with SPLOS that are allowed. But those things are allowed when we don't have special projects that would take priority. And a courthouse, government complex, legislative facility, whatever you want to call it, in my opinion, would take a priority over some of the things that we do with SPLOS now. That would not make some folks happy, but you can't make all these people that they've made promises to happy all the time and still make the citizens happy and not tax the bejesus out of everybody. And that's what's going on in Rockdale County, because everybody wants all these things, and then you and I, the taxpayers, we're the ones paying all these taxes. All these tax increases have hit you and I, the taxpayer, so that our elected officials can do all the things that they want to do on our behalf that we've not asked them to do, and a lot of things we've asked them not to do. They still do what they want to do because it's about them and it's not about us. One of the interesting things that I saw, they are going to propose a salary resolution to increase the salary for judges and elected constitutional officers in Rockdale County. They say that Rockdale County's not dealt with this for 20 years, not asked for raises. Then, they, and the two of these I have to talk about at the same time: expanding the Rockdale County Board of Commission salary resolution. Because when they talked about the salary resolution, they talked about Rockdale County growing, Rockdale County changing, Rockdale County not being the same Rockdale County that it was in 1975, and those are the chairman's words. And I agree, Rockdale County is not the same Rockdale County of 1975 when they had 30-some thousand residents. Rockdale County, I think the census is going to say we've got 95,000 folks. It's going to say, we're in the top 30 of population of counties in the state of Georgia. We are the second smallest landmass county. And that's an interesting thing that we see the county commission play off of, depending on what they want or don't want. When the county commission wants salaries or increase taxes or increase money, they throw up at us about our dense population, how many people we have, how much services we have to provide. That gets thrown up at us. We're a growing county. We've got all these people. We've got all this growth. So one of the things they threw out at this meeting was that the chairman's salary in particular, they said that the closest they could find was Oconee County, and the chairman there made $14,000 more a year than the chairman here in Rockdale County. So I think the chairman here in Rockdale County makes $116,000. So that would make the chairman of Oconee County making $130,000. They had even mentioned some chairmen of some counties that made 2 and 3 times as much as the chairman of Rockdale County. Like some of those counties they mentioned, actually the population were 2 and 3 times that of Rockdale County also. So, but they don't mention those things when they want to talk about population size. They want to talk about Rockdale County's grown, not the same Rockdale County. I looked up the 2010 census had Oconee's population at over 32,000 people. Also, just to let you know, it also had Oconee with a chairman and 4 commissioners with a 5-commission system at 32,000 people. Rockdale County at the same time of that 2010 census, we were at 85,000 people. Now we're 94,000 people. And this same commission really not in favor of commission expansion growth. So, when it benefits this commission, they throw growth and size up. But when it's not beneficiary, they say we're a small county. So, this is my thing that I like to say is you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can either say we're a growing county and we have needs and we need to expand. And if we need to expand and you need additional funds because you're bogged down and you can't do all the work that you used to be able to do, then maybe you need some help. One of the things that one of the chairman, not the chairman, but Commissioner Washington said was she felt that they were able to do things better with this 3-person commission and get things done quicker. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Quicker is not always better. I would like to see the expansion to the 5 so they could slow the horses down a little bit. Let's talk about some mistakes that they've made rushing through with these 3 commissioners. Parker Road. 3 commissioners were able to virtually give away the most valuable asset that the county had. I think if we would have had 5 commissioners a few years ago when this proposal came up, I think we would have had heated debate, and I don't think the county would have been able to give away the most valuable piece of property that Rockdale County. And they said, we don't give it away. We still own it. You can't do anything with where the building is in that particular piece of land because it's locked in, because you've got a lease agreement with Restoration Storehouse, who in turn turned around and did a sublease agreement with Head Start, which, you guys locked that in because that Head Start lease agreement is a very tough agreement. People say, was there any way really to get out of that? Yeah, I think there is a way to get out of that. I'll talk about that on another show, because I talked to some folks that are running for offices next year in Rockdale County. It's very interesting conversations. And we're going to start inviting those folks that are going to run for offices, not invite them, but, I'm going to put the invitation out here on live. Anybody that intends on running for office next year, reach out to me here at This Week from Rockdale. Tell me you'd like to be on the show and we'll schedule you. I'm not going to per se invite anyone personally, but I'm throwing the invite out there now that This Week in Rockdale will welcome anyone asking to come on the show and voice their concerns and voice what they intend to do as elected official if they get elected and run for office. And but that also means they're going to get asked some tough questions by me at that point when they come on the show. It's just not going to be a one-way street. They're going to be asked some tough questions about current events, issues that are going on in Rockdale County, and if they were in office, how they would have handled those situations. Because we as taxpayers and voters deserve to know how they would have handled and reacted and voted on the issues if they would have held office, because those same issues may come up for vote again, and they may lead the charge to change some things that have occurred. But let's go back to this salary thing. Sorry, guys, I got off track a little bit. Just I get a little bit excited about these kind of things. But if the chairman is going to ask for additional money, the other board members are going to ask for additional monies because their workloads increase. Rockdale County is not the same county. I agree. Rockdale County is not the same county that had 30-some thousand people in 1975. Rockdale County has tripled the population. Rockdale County needs fair and equal representation. The chairman stated today that he felt there would be turf wars if people were elected to certain regions, that they would try to get things for that region. That's what districts are all about, guys. That's why you elect people by district, so they can actually represent the needs of that particular part of the county. Because our commission now doesn't represent the county as a whole. They live in the central part, right around the city of Conyers, and it doesn't represent the needs of the folks in South and North Rockdale. And too often we have this, that the citizens of North and South Rockdale feel they don't have representation. The chairman says this is something that he's not heard about, people wanting to have commissioners elected by district, or or expansion. I was at the Latino Festival today, and I was talking to somebody at one of their booths, and they came up, talked to that person, and it wasn't 5 minutes, this person was running for office, that they started talking about needing expansion of the Board of Commission. And it wasn't myself, or it was something they generically brought up. It was something, and they generically brought up the fact that they felt that Central Rockdale was represented more stringently than the rest of the county. They were the ones that brought up their concerns on their end of the county that they don't think that our commissioners are aware of, or could even understand or sympathize with them, because they don't live. And I point blank asked him, I said, well, do you want somebody to live? Would you prefer districting? And the answer was this. The gentleman said, him and his wife, they said, we want somebody to represent us that lives in our neighborhood. We want somebody to represent us that lives right where we live, that knows what we're going through. And that's interesting. I mean, I feel the exact same way. And and I led an effort a few years ago and actually got some legislation moving. And then chairman of the Rockdale County Legislative Delegation, Vernon Jones, actually blocked that legislation because he failed to turn the rule, and his one vote was able to block that legislation. And it was a ballot initiative. It was not anything that the delegation themselves could not have done it. We were asking that this be put on the ballot for the citizens of Rockdale County to decide. And Vernon Jones said no. He said, no, the people of Rockdale County don't deserve to have the right to vote for their own fate, for their own decision. So that's why, to this day, when someone asks me, do I support Vernon for governor, the answer is no, because I know he's not real. I know Vernon Jones does not represent conservative values, really. Vernon Jones represents Vernon Jones values, and he'll say and do whatever he has to do to be able to make himself look good and move forward. And I just suggest any of you that are Republicans out there or conservatives, don't fall for the nonsense. Please do not fall for Vernon Jones's nonsense and trickery. We're better than that, and we don't need to fall for that. So, but yeah, just a little bit of backstory. A couple of years ago, we had that legislation. It was ballot initiative legislation that the delegation was not able to bring forward because Vernon Jones blocked it. So I'm not certain what kind of legislation that our legislators are going to bring forward this time, but I do have a feeling that because of the census and redrawing maps, this is actually the time to do it. Senator Strickland, I think Representative Carter, Representative Taylor, they all sort of echoed that sentiment at the legislative breakfast on Thursday. So I really do believe that Rockdale County will be gaining a couple of commissioners come next year. And it's up to us, the citizens, to go to the public hearing when they have the public hearing. And it's up for us to reach out to our legislators and let them know what we want. Because ultimately it comes down to this is, Doreen Carter did say this today. On Thursday at that meeting, she said, ultimately what we end up doing, it's going to be because of what the citizens of Rockdale County want. Really telling those three up there. I mean, we value what your opinion is, but the opinion of the constituents is going to matter more than your opinion. And that was refreshing to hear that this delegation is actually sincere, is serious about this, and they intend to listen to the wills of the citizens of Rockdale County. And that's something that's not been done in a very long time. So I'm excited about it. I'm very happy that is going to happen. And I think that it's about time that the citizens of Rockdale County had a voice. And they I'm going to put this there. They also said that the people will decide, not the commissioners. And that's what we need. We need the people to decide, because if it would be the people, if it would be the commissioners deciding, this is the way it went down. The chairman said, well, I'm for expanding it to 2, just as long as it's at large, because, I think too much, we have these districts, just to be too much stuff. People will be fighting, whatever. Now, if we have districts, then people will be standing up for their communities, and that's what should go on in representative government. The central part of Rockdale County should not get the lion's share of everything. At one time, the city of Conyers was the largest population hub of the county, but for years it's not been. The outskirts of Rockdale County are the population hub now. The attention needs to shift from the city of Rockdale to outside the city. From the city of Conyers to outside to the rural Rockdale area, because that's where most of the citizens live. That's where things need to be looked at. That's where the changes need to be made. Folks, I'm telling you right now, we have a golden opportunity to make a difference in this community and in this county. We've got to stand up. We've got to reach out to these legislators, and we have to let them know that we want change, and we want our voices to be heard. And, you can start by, the chairman said they don't hear from anybody saying they want 5 commissioners. Anybody that's on this show tonight, send an email to them, because they say they're responsive. But just to let you know, I'm going to talk a little bit about something else here. I sent an email to all 3 commissioners a few weeks ago asking them to fulfill their obligation and to appoint people to the Rockdale Water and Sewer Authority. To this date, I've not heard back from anybody. Any of the 3 commissioners have not responded back to my request for them to do that. I saw an email today that Commissioner Washington had sent to someone that said that they were not in violation of anything by not appointing members to the Rockdale County Water and Sewer Authority. But at the meeting on Thursday, she did acknowledge the fact that for the Rockdale County Water and Sewer Authority to be disbanded, it would have to be requested by the legislature to do that. So if that part of the legislation is accurate, then the part that requires them to appoint members and keep the board functional is also part of the legislation. And the only authority that the county has is to appoint the members. And they're failing to do that. So we are going to ask the legislature to take that responsibility away from the Rockdale County Board of Commission. We are going to request that they give that authority to the chief judge of Rockdale County. We're going to ask the legislature to not disassemble the Rockdale County Water and Sewer Authority, because citizens oversight is a good thing. Citizens oversight is needed. When government wants to start disbanding and dismantling citizen oversight, we should all wonder, what is government trying to hide? What do they not want us to know if they are going to disband and tear apart a citizens oversight committee? What are they doing that the citizens wouldn't approve of? Because that's got to be the first thing you ask, because they say they don't need it anymore. Well, the day that we don't need citizen oversight is the day that we are in deep trouble when it comes to local government. Local government needs all the citizen oversight they can get to keep them from doing stupid things, because they tend to do stupid things. Um, I just, what can I say? You've got this guy and this county commission, and the things that they've done or proposed have just been some of the most ridiculous things that one can think of. And when we had the trash issue, they wanted to do that nonsense. When we talk about wanting to expand the commission, they want to talk about how great. I mean, it's not been a few months ago. Anyone who watches the show, they watched the show of when the three commissioners got into the argument over when they dismissed the former communications guy, right? Or he retired and he quit, and that whole shenanigan went down, and those three got into that battle. Definitely times when we need 5 commissioners, so that calm, rational folks can sometimes interject. I think that this coming election, I think that we'll have 2 or 3 people running against Commissioner Williams, and I would be very surprised if she's able to survive a primary. And to be honest, she doesn't need to survive a primary. I've always said this, even when I ran for commission, I said that Doreen Williams was a very good person, but she's not a good commissioner. She's a one-issue candidate, and that's mental health. And let's be honest, she's a one-issue candidate who has not been very effective at being able to initiate any change in that. Let's see what Alex say here. The district's seats are elected at large by the 75% of the population that don't live in particular districts. What's the point? Only friends of the. Alex, I don't agree with you. I mean, you've got your opinion about that. I think that anytime we have someone who lives in the district and they represent the people, even if they were elected at large, that's better than the system we got now. If we're going to get 2 more commissioners, then we need to make sure that we have a voice, and we need to make sure that they at least live in North and South Rockdale. That's something that I'll be fighting for and moving forward to as an individual. Alex is, entitled to his opinion. On this opinion, I think he's wrong. And we won't be working on that issue together. We'll apparently be not working on it together and have a different opinion. But that's the thing about America. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, and you're entitled to what you think. And the people that I talk to want district representation. They want somebody to actually represent them that lives in their area. And no matter how you get elected, if you live in my area, I think you're going to want to represent me and do what's best for the area that we live in. So that's what I'm wanting to see. That's what I'd like to see. So guys, I'm just telling you right now, Rockdale County residents, we have the capability, we have the ability to make a difference in our own lives. And I encourage each and every one of you, reach out to the commissioners, let them know you do favor board expansion and you would like to see districts. We look at what they said about expanding. And then when they say, they want these additional salaries because the county's grown, and then we come back but we don't want district because we've not grown that much and we're small, sending very mixed messages. So I think that the county needs to, decide. The 3 commissioners need to get in one accord and decide: are we a big county? Are we a small county? Have we grown? Have we not grown? Because the mixed messaging doesn't help those guys much at all. And it's just like when they sent mixed messages when they were doing their courthouse expansion a few years ago. It was mixed message because it would depended on week to week and what meeting that you went to as to what point they tried to make or how they were trying to sell it that week, because they thought they could just put it out there, throw out some charts, bring some people up there to talk about it, and it would just pass. People are very hesitant about spending large amounts of money, and I can't blame them, especially when they're talking about creating a facilities authority that won't have to raise taxes to pay for millions of dollars of bonds. Don't think that that's a real thing, guys. I really don't think it's a real thing. And I do plan on talking to some people about that this week. So, I was very surprised. And then also we found out that we got a new, that the county hired some new legislative people to actually, new consultant. They hired a new consulting firm, new lobbyist firm. So, and that's another thing I want to know. Why, if you claim we're this small, quaint county that they can all just talk to each other and get along and work things out, why do we need to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to a lobbying firm when you guys have the numbers to all the legislators? Why don't you just call them up, talk to them? Why do we have to spend taxpayers' dollars on a lobbying firm when you can just call them up, talk to them? You can have these legislative breakfasts like you just did. Have them in on a Zoom call. Have them come in and everybody have a conversation about what we need in Rockdale County and what we don't need in Rockdale County. I think it would be a lot better way to do it and spend a few $100,000 on a consulting firm to lobby for us. I remember last year, or was it the year before, whenever we were trying to do the districting legislation, that lobbying firm would be hammering Brian Strickland's office about that, trying to keep them from doing that, and it was like, the lobbying firm was right there just trying to fight that the whole time. The lobbying firm does not work or fight for you, the citizens of Rockdale County. The lobbying firm works for the Board of Commission. They try to get what the board wants, not what's necessarily best for the citizens of Rockdale County, but for what the board wants. As I was talking to people at the Latino Festival today, and that's what a lot of people, most of the people that I was talking to there, they were echoing that same sentiment that this Board of Commission seems to want to do what's best for them and not best for the citizens of Rockdale County. And I totally agree that that's what this Board of Commission has always done. This Board of Commission has always tried to do what's best for them personally and what they feel is best for them politically or their political allies, or will get them the best donation, or will get them the best positioning, not necessarily what's the best thing for the citizens of Rockdale County. I think Rockdale County citizens deserve better, and we deserve more. And like I said, folks, we can do it. We actually can. I believe that Rockdale County's best days are ahead of it. I believe that if we really want to enact change, that we can do it. That this coming year at the ballot box, we don't have to elect the same people and put the same folks back into office. That we can do something a little different. And I've got confidence and faith in the voters of Rockdale County that their eyes are going to open up and that they are going to say, okay, enough's enough, and we're going to do things differently. The citizens of Rockdale County deserve better, and we can get better. And it's just up to us, because we have the capabilities to do this ourselves through the ballot box. We have the capabilities to do this through ourselves, through reaching out to our legislators, to our Board of Commissioners, sending them emails, doing phone calls, letting them know how we feel about issues. Because, we've not heard about this. This is what our elected, we've not heard, nobody's mentioned anything. And then, the chairman did say, well, there are segments of the county who have talked about expanding the commission. He went from no one to segments. And, I'll dare say, you go out and talk to 10 people in Rockdale County, 7 out of 10 will be for expanding the board and it being districts. 7 out of 10. Easy. Easy peasy, as they would say. Easy peasy. So, it's not this thing that people don't want, but a lot of times that people get to feel defeated because they've wanted something for 20 years. This is something that's been asked for 20 years by different folks in Rockdale County at different times, and they've brought it up and just been, shut down. Sometimes people do get disheartened when they get shut down and they lose hope and they lose the fight. Guys, I'm just not one of those guys who's going to lose the fight. I'll be here with you to the end. I'll be here with you. I'm not a quitter, and I don't give up. So I'm going to be here with you no matter what capacity that I'm in, whether I'm chairman of the Rockdale County Republican Party, whether I'm just hosting a show like this, or if I'm just a regular citizen who goes to the BOC meeting and speaks his mind. So, and I've done all three, and I will continue to do all three as long as I'm a member of this community. I'm not just going to do one thing. I'm not just going to be here on social media and do this and just say things and not take action. Just by saying things and making posts and not taking action, you're not doing anything. You've got to take action. You've got to be out there in the fight. You've got to start things. You've got to go do petitions. You've got to go speak at the Board of Commission meetings. You actually have to take the fight on the ground. You have to let people know that you're serious about these things, because if we don't, they'll just keep running all over us. And that's not what we want. And I know it's not what we want. I talked to everybody. Today I talked to Democrats as well as Republicans today. And I didn't hear anyone saying anything different than what I've been talking about tonight. No one is particularly happy with what's going on in Rockdale County. Sometimes they just don't know how to exercise the change. But if enough of us band together, if enough of us say we want to make a difference and we do care, change happens and change will occur. Folks, I'm going to go ahead and cut the show short tonight. I think it's about 40 minutes, and I think that's what I've been going here on a solo act. But, like I said, we talked about those things, about the salary resolution and the Rockdale County Water and Sewer Authority, where, Commissioner Williams says they think they may want to disband it. I ask you to reach out to them and say, no, we don't want you to disband our Water and Sewer Authority because we don't trust you. We don't trust that you'll be able to handle our drinking water. We don't trust. Charlotte wants me to talk about the silt. Well, Charlotte, we did a whole show on the silt. What I'll do with the silt is I'll have George Kilichek is in Washington D.C. and I think he's talking to some people in D.C. about the silt and water issues in Rockdale County. I'd like for George to get back from D.C., give him an opportunity to talk to some folks up there in the EPA. And he actually is going to talk to some federal legislators. So I'd like to give George an opportunity to go up there, talk to some folks up there, and then in a week or so, when he gets his facts together and some additional stuff together, I'd like to have George back on the show for at least 15, 20 minutes to have a follow-up and a little bit of a catch-up session on silting and what progress has been made and what we know to date. So, Charlotte, we will continue to talk about silt and the endangering of the Rockdale County reservoir. But I think we will let George Kilichek here in a couple of weeks come on the show as a special guest and brief us on the goings on with that. I do intend on bringing some special guests on here in the next few months. Not for the whole show. I think I'm going to bring some folks in for like some short segments. Some 10, 15, 20-minute segment kind of things about certain issues, and, let them come on, do the segment, and go away. We're going to start bringing some more candidates on that are running for office. Been wanting to do that. We're going to start doing that. But, they've got a request to come on. I'm not going to solicit or do that. I may, some state level candidates, ask them to come on. But any local level officials running for office, they're going to have to request to be on the show, and then their request will not be denied. Anybody who asks will be given access to the show, because unlike other media, I believe in free speech. And if you ask to come on the show, I'm going to let you come on the show. But then you got to remember, once you get on the show and you start saying things, then I got the right to ask you and follow up on those things. So free speech works two ways. Guys, thank you again for coming on the show. Let me do two plugs before I go. First of all, next Saturday, Pink Pooch Festival at the Richardson Dog Park. Let's all get out there and support the Pink Pooch Parade Festival. It's going to be a great time, a great event. All proceeds go to support breast cancer. Let's get out there and do that. Here in a few weeks, also on the 16th, we're going to have the Fall Festival. So let's get out and support the Conyers Fall Festival. The Rockdale County Republican Party will have a booth there. We will be doing a booth. We will be doing tickets for firearms uh, uh, and everything. So that'll be a great thing. Yeah, Danny, I'm not certain if it's Saturday or Sunday. I think I talked to Tara today, and she thought it was it's next weekend. So, I'll put a post up this week letting everybody know exactly the date and the time. I'll do a post on the show's page. So anybody who wants to know the time and date, I'm actually going to go and take the link from Tara's page and share it on our page. So just go look at the page and it'll have the time and the day for sure. And it'll be one day next week, Pink Pooch Festival. And then, like I said, we got the Fall Festival. Really look forward to you guys to come buy some tickets to something got going on. Hope to see you guys there. Really think that everybody will have a great time. Plug those two things like I promised I would. And guys, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. And we just got a thing here that says it's the 10th, and the 10th is next Sunday. So it will be next Sunday. So I'm going to be there. So I look forward to seeing you guys there. And I'll be bringing my dog, Tucker Cox. Tucker Cox will be making his debut appearance at the Pink Pooch Festival. I brought Molly Cox year before last, and she went after the chairman a little bit. And I don't think I'll bring Molly Cox because she might have scared the chairman a little bit. So we'll leave Molly at home and we'll bring 12-pound Tucker Cox. So yeah, I don't think Tucker Cox will go after anybody. He's a little better behaved than Molly Lou Cox. So, but Molly Lou does get votes. I voted. Molly Lou has got votes for commissioner before. Molly's got votes for clerk of courts before. But we just get it there going. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Anything that goes on in Rockdale, we'll try to get you some information about it. I just want to thank each and everybody for attending, and I'll see you next week on This Week from Rockdale. Thank you, guys.